So in this recording, I'm going to revise the grade 10 error correction knowledge. So if you see this question from the textbook, right? So I'm going to discuss this question from the textbook, right? So the first adjustment, the balance of the electricity bill account, 16,000, not extracted to the trial balance. So if you see here now, this is the answer of a last year student. Um, this 16,000 is not extracted to the trial balance. So what you have to do now, normally electricity is an expense. Expense balance in the trial balance should be debited. So therefore, trial balance should be debited by 16,000 and suspense account should be credited by 16,000. So you know also that trial balance is not an account. Trial balance is not an account. Therefore, for this trial balance, we put dot 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 dot. So that is why here they have put some dot. So dot 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 debit, suspense account, credit. Right. So the first adjustment, since it is not extracted to the trial balance, what you have to do? You have to debit it to the trial balance and credit it to the suspense account, right? Debit to the trial balance and credit to the suspense account. Then when it's come to adjustment number 2, the balance of interest income account, 10,000 has been entered in the debit column of the trial balance. So I think normally asset normal balance is debit. Expense normal balance is debit. Income normal balance is credit. Equity normal balance is credit. And liability normal balance also is credit. But there are some exceptions now. This is the rule for trial balance. So what are the exceptions? Um, Purchase return. Now purchase return is an expense, but it is credit. Sales return is an income, but it is debited. Drawings is equity, but it is debit. Right? So these are some of the exception. And also provision for depreciation. Accumulated depreciation, it is an asset, but it has a credit balance. Right? So this is to be remembered. So here, interest income account has been entered in the debit column of the trial balance. It means now, if this is the interest income account, interest income, interest income should be in the credit side because normally interest income is an income, the normal balance is credit. Or else if you think in this way, if you receive an interest income, cash book is debited, interest income should be credited. But here what they have done, they have debited the interest income. Now is this correct? Debiting interest income? No, it is wrong. So what you can do to remove this, you can credit 10,000. But if you credit 10,000, you can see this account will set off. Therefore, we will enter another 10,000. So totally we should record 20,000. So 20,000 credit, where to debit? Suspense account. So if you see here, suspense account debit by 20,000 and the dot 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 credit 20,000 because dot 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 denominates the trial balance. Is it clear? Then moving forward, adjustment number 3, repayment of bank loan rupees 30,000 has been recorded only in the cash book. So when we repay the bank loan account debit, cash book should be credited. Cash book should be credited. Now here what has happened? Repayment of bank loan credited only to the cash book. That means they have forget to debit to the bank loan account. So when the word only is there, definitely suspense account is coming, right? So here how to record it? Now we have to debit it to the bank loan account, 30,000. Where to credit? We have to credit it to the suspense account. In the suspense account, we have to credit 30,000. So if you see the answer, bank loan debit 30,000, suspense account credit 30,000. So that is the answer for number 3. The balance of the purchase account 130,000 entered in the trial balance as 150. So you can see here there is a gap of 20,000. What we can do now in the trial balance, normally purchase is debit to credit. Purchase is an expense, it is debit. Here they have recorded it as 150,000, but it should be 130,000. So what you can do, if you credit the trial balance by 20,000, so automatically this will adjust to 130,000. So what you can do, suspense account debit 20,000 and trial balance credit by 20,000. Then moving to the next one, the drawing account has been balanced erroneously 34,000 instead of the correct value 43,000. So you can see there is a difference of 9,000. Difference is 9,000. So instead of recording 43,000, they have recorded it as 34,000. Now you know drawings, I say normally the debit balance should come as a debit balance. So they have recorded 43,000, but the correct value should be 34,000. So what you can do, credit drawings account by 9,000 and debit to the where? Suspense account. So there is error, not 43,000. They have recorded the other way around as 34,000. 34,000, right? So the correct value should be 43,000. So if you debit another 9,000, then it will come as 43,000. So then drawings debit and suspense account credit. So how if the question said in this way? Um, the drawing account has been balanced erroneously as 43,000 instead of the correct value 34,000. So how if the question said like that? This is the Robin's account. The correct value should be 43,000, but they have recorded how much? 34,000. Then to make this 43,000, I have to debit 9,000. Right? So this is the situation which is mentioned here. How if this was mentioned like this, the drawing account has been erroneously balanced as 43,000 instead of 34,000. So now they have recorded 43,000. To make this 43,000, to make this 34,000, what I have to do? Credit 9,000. Then this automatically will become 34,000. So hope that is clear. So then the final thing you have to do is create the suspense account. Here they have given a difference in the trial balance, which is 15,000. So you can debit it and enter respectively the value from the general journal. Right? So that is the question given in the textbook. So then we will see activity 4. There is a difference in the trial balance of 5,500, which was credited to the suspense account. So in the suspense account, you have to credit 5,500. First one, total of telephone charges is understated by 5,000. So what is mean by understated? Understated means recording in a lower value. Recording in a lower value. What is mean by overstated? Overstated means recording in a higher value. Recording in a higher value, right? So here the telephone charges account. Here, this is telephone. Normally telephone balance should be debited, right? Understated means they have debited 5,000 in less. So what you have to do, you have to debit 5,000 to the telephone account. Why? The normal balance in an expense account is debited, right? So therefore, the telephone account should be debit and your suspense account should be credited. Suspense account should be credited. Okay. So that is for the first um, transaction. First transaction. So here it's better to assume it as a trial balance one. Right? So normally telephone charges total, since here they have mentioned total of telephone charge, we will take it as a trial balance transaction. So therefore, trial balance should be debited. We write dot 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 debit and suspense account credit. So I forget. It is very important to write the narration. How to write the narration? So if you don't know to write the narration, you can write correction of and write the transaction. Or else write the transaction, put a comma and write corrected. So if we go to the next one, payment of building repair expense, 30,000 correctly credited to the cash book, but debited to the building account in error. So this is called error of principal. Now how to correct this? Building repair and building. This is building repair account and this is building account, right? So building repair expense 30,000 is correctly credited to cash book. Okay, so no problem, but debited to building account. No, that is wrong. No, because when we pay building repair should be debited. So what I can do, credit to building account to make the building account zero and debit to the building repair account. Credit to the building account and debit to the building repair account. So that is what has been done here as well. Then if we go to the next one, a check issued for purchases 45,000 recorded in the bank account correctly but debited to the purchase account as 54,000. Now to your mind it should come as purchase account balance should be debited. Why? Normally purchase is an expense. Expense accounts are debit. So here they have recorded it as 54,000, but the correct value should be how much? 45,000. So there is a difference of 9,000. So if you credit this purchase account by 9,000, you can get the original value 45,000. So credit purchase account and debit to the suspense account. And another thing, so in front of the debit transaction, it is necessary to write as DR, but we normally don't write CR. For credit transaction, we are not writing credit. We only write debit in front of the debit transaction. So if you move to the next one, the balance of the salary account 5,000 has been extracted to the trial balance as 500. So you know salary normally is a debit balance. Now this is a trial balance. It has two columns no, for debit and credit. So in the debit side, they have recorded as 500, but the correct value is 5,000. So what I can do to make this as 5,000, if I record 4,500 here, this will become 5,000. So trial balance debit 4,500 and suspense account credit 4,500. The last transaction, total of the sales account undercasted by 6,000. So here, this is the sales account. Sales account has been undercasted by 6,000. So you know normally the sales is an income. Sales balance should be credited. So therefore, in the credit side, 6,000 is lower. Credit to the sales account and you can debit to the suspense account. So here also, since total is mentioned, we will take it as a trial balance transaction, right? So therefore, suspense account debit dot 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 credit. So dot means trial balance. Then the final thing you have to do is enter the suspense account transaction to the suspense account and both sides should be equal. Why is that? Suspense account is a temporary balance. Suspense account is a temporary balance. So then there are few more activities. Um, so I'll do activity 5 as well. But activity 6 and 7, I will not do. I will show the answer, right? So activity 5, the total of the debit column of the trial balance exceed the total of the credit column by 8,000. So the debit column is exceeding the credit column by 8,000. It means the difference should be in the credit side. For the first transaction, insurance premium paid 5,600, debited in the insurance account as 6,500. So normally you know insurance is the expense, so insurance balance should be debited. Here they have recorded it as 6,500, but the correct value should be 5,600. So what is the difference? 6,500 minus 5,600. So 900 is excess, right? So if you credit 900 here to the insurance account, you can get the original value 5,600. So insurance account credit by 900, where to debit? Suspense account. Suspense account debit by 900. Then if we move to the next transaction, rent received of 9,000 has been debited only in the cash book. So I said if the word only is there, definitely suspense account should come. Now when we receive a rent, what is the double entry? Cash debit, rent income, credit. So therefore I have to credit to the rent income 9,000 because they have debited only into the cash book. And where to debit? Suspense account. Suspense account. Rent income credit, suspense account, debit. Rent income credit, suspense account, debit. Then the next one, the cash drawing is recorded only in the cash book. So think about the double entry, drawings debit, cash credit. So they have credited to cash, but they haven't debited to drawings. So what you have to do in the drawings account, you have to debit the 1,500 and credit it to the suspense account. So drawings debit, suspense account credit. The debit entry made for cash payment of 7,500 for the loan repayment has not been made. Now here you must think of what is the debit entry for the loan repayment. So normally when we make a loan repayment, bank loan, debit, cash, credit. So the debit entry means bank loan debit. What we have to do in the bank loan account, we have to debit 7,500 and we have to credit to the suspense account. Bank loan repayment debit, suspense account credit. The last one, balance of the salary account not extracted to the trial balance. So I said earlier also, salary means it is an expense. Expense balance normally are debited. So this is a trial balance, debit, credit. Normally salary is debit, so therefore we have to debit it to the trial balance. trial balance debit. So therefore we should write dot 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 debit and suspense account credit. Dot 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 debit and suspense account credit. So then finally you have to enter this transaction in the suspense account from the general journal like this. So then here, this is the activity 6 answer. And this is the answer for activity 7. So sometimes you will be asked to mention what are the errors affecting or not affecting to the agreement of trial balance. So there was a past paper question as well, if I remember, level 2017, right? Where they have asked what are the transaction affecting to the agreement of trial balance and not affecting the agreement of trial balance. So this is the answer for activity 7. This is the general journal. And this is the suspense account.